Great. Thank you, Plug and Play, for putting on another great event and for inviting us to present here. So I always find it's helpful in these type of events to give a quick overview of what we do as a company and give you kind of a sense for where we are as a company, since you're probably seeing tens of companies today. So we are in the artificial intelligence space, and I'll peel back the onion around what we do exactly, but we're very interested in user churn, understanding user churn, predicting user churn, and actually decreasing user churn. We work with some great global companies. We're based up in San Francisco, and the founding team studied at Caltech, so typical Silicon Valley company, Caltech, Stanford, Berkeley, and we've seen about 3x customer growth over the last couple years. So AI is probably peaking in terms of the hype cycle right now, so I'll talk to you a little bit around how we see AI. So artificial intelligence, we see AI sitting at the center of almost every business in the next few years. They're going to work hand in hand with executives. They're going to work hand in hand with different business units to optimize the customer lifetime value across the organization. And we're really focused on a subset of that problem, which is how do you think about user churn? How do you predict user churn? And how do you ultimately optimize and reduce user churn using artificial intelligence systems? Let me skip that slide. Here are some of the folks that we work with. So you see we work with folks across a variety of different verticals. So media, commerce, telco, et cetera. Almost every company has this issue with user churn, and we're really focused on how can we increase customer lifetime value by reducing user churn. Here are a couple of quotes from folks we work with. That picture there is with Rupert Murdoch holding up a Vidora shirt. So that was taken a year or so ago. But let me kind of peel back and talk a little bit of our technology, how we actually work with partners. There's kind of two initial components to Vidora. So we're an AI system that sits in the cloud. There's two components. One is programming your goals. So your goal would be reduce user churn. And the second is telling the AI around the different customer touch points you have. Your customer touch point might be an on-site experience. Your customer touch point might be, hey, here's an email that we send every week. But you basically program the AI with these different customer touch points, and then there's an adaptive framework that basically optimizes for your goals given those customer touch points. So this is the fundamental system that we've built that we're able to deploy across a variety of different verticals, and again, working with some of the largest global organizations. So let's talk a little about some of the outputs of this system. So in this plot, you're actually looking at, this is real data from one of our customers. We're looking at the probability of churn for every user for this particular B2C property. So imagine if you have a B2C experience, we can tell you the likelihood of any of those users churning based on our predictive models and saying, hey, users did X, Y, Z, and so they're very likely to churn. It's all a learning framework that looks across all channels and will predict the likelihood of any user churning. In this case, we're 84% accurate, and that's pretty typical. So we're able to predict with 84% accuracy whether or not one of your users will churn. But we go a step deeper. So the AI actually tells you the reasons why users churn. And this is ultimately how we tie into actually optimizing optimizing churn. The AI is actually starting to figure out what are the causes of churn. In this case, there's a content company. So we're not only able to tell you the behaviors that lead to churn, so what they're engaging with in terms of your consumer-facing experiences, what emails, what push, what app experiences, what on-site experiences, but we're able to start telling you even the content. In this case, it's a content company, what content your most loyal users are engaging with versus your least loyal users. Right? And so we really kind of peel back the onion. Our algorithms understand the reasons for churn. And then ultimately, we look to decrease user churn. And so for this particular company, we're able to dramatically impact churn, resulting in millions of dollars of new revenue. So we're routinely able to generate really large ROI from using the Vidora platform to predict, understand, and ultimately reduce user churn. So typically we engage, this is kind of how we engage. If anyone here is interested in speaking more, just to give you a general sense for how we work with customers. So typically we have initial proof of concept that lasts 2 to 3 months, charge 5 to 10K. During that process, we'll understand your churn, we'll start to understand your customer touch points, and we'll start to understand how to reduce it. and then we'll calculate ROI, and that really leads into a more formal, ongoing, long-term relationship. And if you're interested in learning more, that's my email. Feel free to reach out directly. So thank you.
Got time for one question? All right, thank you, Alex.